When you think of a university, you probably picture classrooms, research labs, maybe a football game. But behind all of that, there's a massive, invisible battle being fought every single day. We got to look at the University of California's annual compliance and audit plan, and trust me, it's not some dry, dusty document. It's a high-stakes strategic defense plan. So let's deconstruct. So, that really is the big question here, isn't it? What does it actually take? I mean, we're talking about an institution with 10 campuses, world-class medical centers, billions in research funding. How do you possibly protect all of that from a constant barrage of threats? Everything from sophisticated cyber attacks to foreign espionage. Well, the answer is a really complex, proactive strategy, and that's what we're going to dig into. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the university's overall strategic defenses. Then, we're going to map out the entire risk landscape to see what they're up against. After that, we'll put a spotlight on some of the key threats. Then, we'll see how they check the system's health. And finally, we'll talk about why all of this is really about building a foundation of trust. Okay, let's start with the big picture, the university's strategic defenses. The best way to think about this compliance plan is like the institution's immune system. It's this incredibly sophisticated network that's designed to spot threats and neutralize them before they can do any real damage. So what exactly is a compliance and audit plan? Well, think of it as a proactive game plan. It's approved at the very highest levels, and its whole purpose is to look around the corner and anticipate risks across the entire UC system. We're talking legal risks, financial risks, and anything that could damage its reputation. So what kind of threats are actually on their radar? This next part is all about mapping that risk landscape. See, the university doesn't just sit back and wait for problems to happen. It's constantly scanning the horizon to create what's basically a threat map for the year ahead. And the sheer range of these challenges is, well, it's staggering. It starts with the things you'd probably expect in today's digital world, right? Like protecting enormous amounts of personal data and locking down the whole system from cyber threats. But it gets even more serious. The plan also has to deal with really high-level stuff, like national security issues and the growing concern over foreign influence in research. And this is where the stakes get incredibly high. And here it is. This is the university's official threat assessment for the next year or so. You see data and AI governance right there at the top. Then there's national security stuff like NSPM 33, which is all about keeping research secure. You've also got reporting foreign gifts, healthcare compliance, and campus safety under the Clary Act. That's the law that makes universities report crime stats. I mean, each one of these is its own universe of complexity. Okay, now let's zoom in. Let's put a spotlight on a few of these key threats. We're going to look at exactly what's at stake and how the university is planning to defend itself. This is really the front line of the battle we were talking about. First up is research security. And believe me, this isn't just about protecting some intellectual property in a lab. This is a matter of national security. The US government has basically said that any university getting big federal research grants has to have a rock-solid security program in place. This chart lays it out perfectly. The risk is failing to follow the rules from a federal memo called NSPM-33. The impact? A potentially catastrophic loss of federal research money. So the university's strategy is to build out all the tools, the training, and the processes to make sure every single campus is on the same page and fully compliant. And let's just hang on that impact for a second. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist. The plan says right there that non-compliance could mean losing federal research funding and facing violations of the False Claims Act. That means billions of dollars and huge legal trouble. So yeah, getting this right is absolutely non-negotiable. All right, next up is a related but totally distinct threat, foreign influence. This really zeroes in on the challenge of being transparent about gifts and contracts from foreign entities, which has become a massive focus for the federal government lately. So the risk here is that in a system this big and decentralized, there could be gaps in how they track and report foreign money. Now look at the impact. It's not just about losing research funding. This could actually mean the university loses its eligibility for student financial aid. So their strategy is to build a centralized tool and do a full inventory to plug any and all of those gaps. Yeah, this is the detail that should make everyone's ears perk up, the potential loss of student financial aid. That means this isn't some abstract administrative problem. This is a threat that could directly hit students and their ability to even attend the university. It just goes to show you how connected all these compliance issues really are. Okay, Our third spotlight threat is one that affects every single person in the university community: data privacy. The UC system holds an immense amount of sensitive data on students, patients, staff, you name it, and protecting all of it is a monumental task. So the risk, as the plan puts it, is having inconsistent rules in a huge, complex data world that's getting even more complicated with the rise of AI. The potential damage is severe: identity theft for individuals, a complete loss of public trust, and major fines from the government. The strategy is basically a three-pronged attack: build a better privacy program, launch a big data governance project, and get a new tool to help manage the whole shebang. Okay, so identifying threats is one thing, but building a shield is pretty useless if you don't check it for cracks every now and then. So how does the university know if its defenses are actually working? Well, that's where the second half of this strategy comes in, the internal audit plan. And this isn't about punishment, it's about checking the system's health. Now, this chart shows a really fascinating strategic shift. Look at that biggest slice. 27% is now for advisory services. This shows that they're moving away from the old school gotcha style of auditing. Instead of just finding problems, the audit team is working with departments to build stronger systems from the start. It's all about preventing fires, not just putting them out. And where are they focusing their energy? This bar chart tells the story. The top three areas are financial management, information management, and technology. And that lines up perfectly with the threat map we saw earlier. They're putting their resources exactly where the biggest risks are. For a threat as critical as cybersecurity, they have a specialized unit, the CAT team, with a very clear three-step mission. First, they check for compliance. Are campuses actually following the security playbook? Second, they review past incidents. They treat every breach like a lesson to be learned to fix the root cause. And third, they proactively mitigate vulnerabilities. This is where they basically become ethical hackers, stress testing their own systems to find holes before the bad guys do. So, after all these details, all these plans and audits, let's just step back and ask the big question. Why does all this invisible work really matter? Well, that brings us to our final section, the foundation of trust. Because ultimately, this is the most crucial point. All of this quiet, diligent, incredibly complex work, it isn't just bureaucracy for the sake of it. It is the invisible foundation. It's the shield that protects the entire institution, and that allows all the amazing research, education, and public service to happen safely and effectively. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? If this is the level of strategic defense it takes to run a public university system, what kind of complex, invisible shields are protecting all the other major institutions we rely on every single day, from our banks to our hospitals to our governments? This is not financial advice.